Hello, everybody. Welcome to the J Word Show, where we chat, laugh, play, and review. My name is JP. I'm Narwhal JP on most socials. Um, I'm joined today with Joe and Jess, as always. Positive Joe, some TVs in there in the socials, and Jess Bumble 777 on socials. And today we are joined by a very special guest. KosmicKait is a 25-year-old Chicago native now living in Houston, Texas. She's a full-time customer support manager, part-time content creator, and most of the time out of her mind. Kate got her start in the gaming and esports world around 2017 and managed communities and esports organizations for a few years. Starting in 2020, right after moving to Houston, Texas, she began her focus on a fresh start and new content. Now in 2021, she's working to redefine her content, partnerships, and work within the gaming scene, all while managing a full-time remote job and family. Kate, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you on.
I'm so excited.
Welcome.
So, yeah. So I think a cool way to start out is kind of for you to maybe give us a little bit of a rundown of what we might expect to see on your channel. What kind of games do you play? What's the vibe kind of like? I know you do some raid dance parties and stuff like that, so I'm interested to hear.
A little bit of everything. I consider myself a variety streamer and content creator. Just because I've kind of branched out just from streaming, which has been super beneficial actually. But mostly like games I play and what happens on my stream are I've been vibing with Phasmophobia lately, Pummel Party, Dead by Daylight, sometimes The Sims, sometimes Call of Duty Zombies, sometimes like a little bit of everything. And then once a week I do candle making Mondays, which is I make my own candles. So it's yeah, it is a lot of screaming, a lot of fun, and but also like chill at the same time. It makes no sense.
It's true. It's an enigma for sure. Um, I've been lucky enough to be friends with Kate for a couple years at this point. We've been in different orgs together. That was one of the very first things that I wanted to ask you about today. We did a podcast, I think 2 episodes ago, about esports organizations, and I actually did reach out to Kate, Joe, and Jess about. She has a lot of experience. She's been in management. She's been in organizations and non-management roles as well. So I kind of asked her about these things, but I'm wondering now that you've kind of stewed on it a little bit for a couple weeks. We talked about esports orgs and should you join one and the benefits and kind of the drawbacks of certain things. And as you watch the podcast, you kind of heard kind of what our view on it is. From your personal standpoint, what is a good org to you? Like, what is an environment that you should be looking for if you're looking about joining maybe an esports organization?
Yeah. While listening to the podcast, because we did talk beforehand, so I kind of
Mm-hmm.
went into it like wondering what from what we talked about was going to be said, or like thoughts based on even those things. And everything that each of you said, like something resonated, which is important because what an esports organization or a team or community encompasses is everybody has a different experience, and I think each of you had like different experiences, or like Justice is like your first org you're in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, hopefully I remember. So like this is a brand new experience for you, and hopefully it's fantastic so far. Like I can only hope for the best. But like each of you brought something different to the table, and that is so true to like just how it is. Everybody has a different perspective just from who they are and experiences. But also, you know, things that they bring to the table could be uh like result in their experience in the environment. So I started in kind of like the community sense and then worked my way up to managing pretty much a whole org for about 2 years, and then worked my way down a little bit. And now I'm kind of just like solo dolo, mostly because I was finally finding my worth. Um, I had great org experiences as staff, and then some not so great org experiences as staff. Never have really been just a member. And if I was a member, it wasn't for long because I have to have control and I have to fix things. Um, and you find that everywhere something's got to be fixed. And you know, if you're somebody who like has a little bit of know-how, you're like, yeah, I'll do it, no problem. And then you overwhelm yourself, and then it's a bad time. Um, the original question. Hey. um, but yeah, just it's different for everybody, and everything that you guys touched on, I was like, yes, absolutely, 100%. So it's kind of life's what you make it, so let's make it rock. Hannah Montana, just make it what you can. And if it's not a great scenario, freaking go somewhere else. Because no matter what, you'll find something, especially if you're with the right people. The people make all the difference.
Yeah, I mean, something you just said actually earlier that I don't know how much we touched on in that podcast episode was like it's so easy to lose your own worth when you're in an organization if you're not in like a positive kind of mindset when you join it. If you're
Mhm.
joining kind of thinking that, maybe this is going to make me something, and then you kind of lose the fact that you need to make yourself something. Like it can be really debilitating once you get out of that situation.
Yeah, like I
Um,
joined to kind of be lifted up in like the things they promised me, but now I'm working for them for free, and taking away from my content, my family, my life, my job, and I'm doing all of this instead,
mhm.
which sometimes can be great. And I've definitely learned a lot that has now that I am focusing on my own situation. I take a lot of what I learned from those situations. Kind of it was resume building, if anything. As much as some of it sucked, I learned a lot.
Yeah, I think that a lot of like organizations out there that are just doing mass recruiting and everything, they're all coming off the ground. You know what I mean? And even if they've been established for months or years at a time, right? If they're not at the level of the big ones that everyone knows, like Liquid, Phase, 100 Thieves, like those kind of things, they don't have the money or backing to have sponsorships that are large enough to support an actual like employee staff related thing. And if they don't
Right.
have that, I know I talked about this quite in detail during the episode, then their entire income is based on the content creators and people that they bring in. And so that is always an issue. And I think that that will always be an issue no matter how big the org is until it gets to that level of where you're getting a major landed sponsor that's giving you at least quarterly earnings for your content or for your
Mhm.
organization's reach. That's a big word that everyone always uses, well, technically a small word, reach, but it's so hard to quantify, and it's quantified in many different ways depending on different sponsors. They'll look for different types of things, right? On what kind of reach they're looking for, like demographic, age group, like all that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
you know until you get to that level, you're always going to have that happen. And if you are someone that, if you are someone that wants to fix something and be a part of something like that in management, you'll quickly learn the dark side of that aspect of things, because you're always going to be cutting someone short in that group of things. And it's not that it's the orgs. I don't think it's a lot of orgs don't start off thinking that they're going to do that. They mean the best, and they just unfortunately just get spread too thin. The minute they get
Yeah.
to a certain number of level of individuals that are in their organization, it's just impossible to expand. And it just goes back to any other job or business, right? If you start a business on your own and you're building one up, you're adding a single employee is like a huge take on. You have to provide benefits, salary, all that kind of stuff. And it's the same thing with organizations, which is why in those large organizations, those big ones, they have all the like not all the money in the world, but they're very well off, right? And their content creation teams are 4-5 people strong. And then you see all the ones at the intermediate lower level, they have like hundreds of content
Because that's
creators in
the
it,
only
right?
income. Yeah.
And they're getting pennies of dollars to each one of them a month, but it adds up to support the top people in the organization. Some organizations do good with that. Some organizations give it back. They do only branding for the organization, trying to get you more and more. But I'm on the bad side, even though my name's Positive Joe. It's definitely a negative aspect for me when it comes to orgs in general at the lower level. Because most of the time I feel like that's just what happens. You get the short end of the stick. If you're there to meet a lot of people, it's amazing. It's great because you're gonna mesh with a bunch of people with the same goals as you. All they want to do is just meet, get better, create a bigger community, and you can definitely do that. And you always see that happen within these mass orgs of 100 plus people. You have like little pods of
Mhm.
4 or 5 people become like
Mhm.
best friends, and then
And it gets
move.
clicky though
Yeah,
sometimes, and it's
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where fallouts happen. You always see it. You always see like org that's all over your Twitter feed, and then you see 5 people say leaving, 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 leaving,
Mhm.
leaving.
Or
Twitter
25.
long. Just just gets old.
Yeah,
you know?
just twitlongers all over the timeline.
And it happens. I mean, it's gonna happen.
And I think the best example of how you mentioned like the tiers and like how they kind of play is most of the tier 1 orgs, they've been around for a while. They've been around with Halo, Fortnite, Call of Duty, like for years. And then in comes 100 Thieves out of nowhere. But they're run by a guy who's been here for a while. He has all the know-how and he has all these people. He's like, okay, I can get the sponsors. I'm also going to hire all these people to handle all the things that I really don't know how to handle. Whereas in the intermediate and lower levels, it's usually 1 to 3 people handling everything, which they're spread too thin. It's really hard, which 100 Thieves is like the prime example of just like, here's this guy who like, he knows what's going on. Because now you also have people, you know, esports is still like you guys were talking about, it's still in its infancy. But now it's gotten to the point where people with money who don't know esports at all are like, I'm interested. I want to get involved. But then, you know, you've guys with money with no know-how. It's like, well, okay, what's going on? You got to connect someone to connect those dots, which Nadeshot was very much that kind of guy.
Yeah. I think Echo Fox is a great example of somebody that had a lot of money and absolutely no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
You just see it just imploded from the inside. And obviously there were more factors than not having the knowledge in that situation. And I think literally every single buzzword in the content creation world came up when that org was imploding. And I think that's a prime example of what you just said, is somebody just jumped in way too deep. And I think also like with these mid-tier orgs that do have like 2 or 3 people running the whole thing, it doesn't become just a spread too thin problem. It can easily become an accountability problem where they're not holding themselves to the standard that the team expects them to, or that they're holding their content creators to. And that's where the shadiness comes in, and that's where it gets really dangerous.
Or even like you talked about like the cancel culture too. If one of those 3 guys screws something up, the whole thing's done.
Right.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad.
Right. I think something that stood out to me was Mark Cuban's comments on esports, because he actually invests in a team with the Mavericks for esports. I forget the name of the actual esports team.
It's the Call of Duty team, right?
I don't remember, but yeah, one of them. But I remember him saying in an interview, he said that it will never be profitable, no matter how much money I put into it. And so therefore I'm not putting money into it, and I also don't want to step foot into it. And you know, Mark Cuban, obviously tons of money, real smart, and he does his research. He doesn't just like kind of glaze over it. He you know, he's doing his stuff. And that worries me. I definitely think that the esports world, it has to kind of separate itself from the content creation world. They're 2 major different things. And content creation is it's just too large of a sum of multiple things, right? That you can't just bulk all into one either, I don't think. I don't know.
A lot of these guys were running on passion only sometimes.
I really do worry, because the most successful organizations, as you were saying, Kate, they came from the competitive atmosphere, the world of MLG game battles when it was the thing.
That's where the money's at.
For those who don't know, game battles was SOCOM battles, SOCOM 2 battles before that, and then SOCOM battles. I'm old enough to know and be playing in the SOCOM battles, but it all got bought out one by one, but now all the major orgs are from those major organizations that started from there, and they all started off and just continued to rise. But even then, most of these organizations, if you actually break down their money, they're actually breaking even, if that. Like most of them aren't even profitable. At a loss. You know, and that's wild to me. And it doesn't look good on that side of things for me when it comes to like esports. I think, you know, ESPN picking it up, all that kind of stuff, I think it's going to start to die out over time. And that's just my take on it today. That could change next week depending on what happens. But, you know, like content creation, it's blowing up to a whole new scale, right? You're going to start, I think it's starting to go over towards North America like it is in Asia already, where like people can become stars. And Ninja was the first one, right, in North America when it comes to like stardom in North America. But I think you're going to start seeing more and more people pop up that everyone knows, not just, you know, they're going to become like national stars. Now, I don't think that will come up within a couple of years, but my lifetime, I hope, maybe.
No, especially when you see So you go.
No, you've been seeing it like with YouTube, for example. Streaming is kind of getting to that point where YouTubers are, almost synonymous with Hollywood stars, depending on who they are, of course. But they're very much so recognized at this point in time as stars, depending. So I think streamers are kind of getting up there. It's getting to the point where like the YouTubers are like collabing with all these gamers, and like, you see like James Charles collabing with like Corpse and all these gamers, and like all of a sudden it's a whole big circle of gamers and everybody else in content creation. I kind of think that they're leeching off of the gaming culture at the moment because there's a huge boom in it, but that's my opinion. But it's getting there and it's kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, it is getting there, but there's still like a huge hump in that anytime there is somebody like Ninja, or like a great example is when Bugo went on Jimmy Kimmel,
Mhm.
like he was still patronized the entire time he was on Jimmy Kimmel. Like Jimmy
Oh.
Kimmel literally sat there and was like, "Oh, you don't work very hard." Like literally for the entire 20 minutes he was on the show. It was
Mhm.
really sad. And like
Which
Jimmy Kimmel's
would they
not a
have
good
done that if he
example.
wasn't that young? Probably not.
Probably
But
not. Jimmy Kimmel's not a good example because he just doesn't like anything that he's not a part of. Um, I think seeing bigger stars, and definitely the YouTube situation, as you saying, like they're being looked at more as stars. I definitely agree with that. You can see a lot of YouTubers starting to be with like in these like mainstream kind of A or B list people, like David Dobrik's collaboration with Leonardo DiCaprio, even like that's huge. That's a crazy, like it's not just a hop and a skip. Like that's a huge leap to get even just that small moment. So I mean, it's there, but I actually did read that interview with Mark Cuban, and he did say like there is no money in esports in North America at all, really, right now. Um, if you're in Asia, that market is huge, but in North America, it's like very fledgling. It's like starting. So like
I
within the next decade, maybe.
I actually know a guy who does esports arenas and stuff, and he goes around and has different pop-ups everywhere. And there really isn't. It's not that popular right now. And I think there's still that stigma of, oh, it's video games, it's not an actual sport. Like
Yeah.
everything else that's physical. So I think it's still coming from the older generation that's not viewing it as an actual thing. I mean, people play video games for a hobby, but they don't see it as competitive, as a sport, as something to
Mm.
do as a career. Because even though my dad works with the same guy making these computer carts for actual esports, he still doesn't see it as a sport. I'm like,
Right. Sees it as a
yeah,
business for
it's right
computer
there.
carts. Right,
I'm like,
right,
what am
right.
I doing? Like I've gone to meetings because this is what I do. This is my hobby, and I've gone to meetings and talked to them and given them like some advice and some insight on what I'm seeing every day. And it's not making the money that they're hoping for, and they've dwindled down their numbers. But now they're hoping to put some in Walmarts around and having it more accessible so more kids see it, so more people are more apt to get into the esports. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I think
coming.
my initial statements were very harsh. I do think that it's coming up, but I worry a lot for it. And you're starting to see the coming up. The good side of it is like you're starting to see college programs starting to have like specific ones. High school routes at times are going to have certain ones for content creation, but they always still have a latch on to like, other things, which is always good. It's always a good thing to have like computer science with that or something like that, but we're seeing that a little bit here and there. And as you're talking about having them in Walmarts, things like that, I mean, obviously that would be pretty huge since they're everywhere. But I think it'll be I think the next 5 years are like pivotal for where it will be in North America. I think it has a very heavy chance to go right back to where it was before. And, with COVID-19 and everything that happened, we kind of did have a little bit of a boom in the e-market, in like the internet atmosphere. So I'm interested to see the fallout of all these things, because some major things went public, like Roblox went public. And who's gonna like what's gonna happen here? Like everyone's, you can already see, I saw some couple like 18 16-year-olds going spending like $250,000 on the market, and they've probably already lost 15% of that just from that. Like, it'll be interesting to see where it goes in 5 years. Does it continue the boom that it has, or is it going to start coming down? And I'm a little worried for that come down. I don't know how many organizations will survive that decree.
And I think that kind of goes back to when you guys were talking about being a full-time content creator. Like right now, a lot of people are just full sending doing it.
Yeah.
And if right now we're thinking it's in a good place and we anticipate it not being in such a great place, because you're right, the pandemic, I work full-time in fantasy sports. I do like support and stuff, but I see all the statistics of, especially when we started offering esports, when sports died for a little bit, there was a huge boom, and it's slowly going down, but it's sustained a little bit, but it's probably not going to stay that way. So if
Right.
people are being full-time content creators right now and it's going really well, I also fear for those people, and like I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it, because what's happening next year, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, like can I still be doing this and
Right.
it working or being enough?
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think I would base my numbers on like half of what whatever you did in the past year. If you're basing your numbers on going full-time content creation off of that, you need to like cut that in half and say this could be what it is over the next couple of years for regular growth, because people are going to go back to work. They're not going to be able to sit at their computers all day and have a second screen up watching their favorite content creator lurking. You know, all that stuff is going to change when they have to go back into the office, stuff like that.
It's gonna be less gifted subs when people go on vacation.
Less
all of these
stimmies.
different things.
Yeah, no more stim checks. Because you gotta remember, I mean, Twitch is not, only America, where we apparently really suck at getting stimulus checks out to people. But like Europe has been getting them nonstop, and I've had some Europeans in my chat just saying like, "Hey, giving you some of my stim check." I'm like, cool. But like, where's that all gonna go when that stops? I mean, it's gonna stop. So yeah, interested.
It's scary. It's fun, but it's scary, and I think that's the fun part about being in an ecosystem like this, is you don't know what's gonna happen. People who have made predictions in the past have been completely wrong, and esports and gaming just turns everything on its head. So really, who knows what's gonna happen? But it's scary.
It's just like any artistic kind of job, like acting and things of that nature. Like you go out and you try and find a job, it's not guaranteed.
Right.
It's not constant. So sitting and content creating, not sitting, but doing content creation, like it's not guaranteed. It's not going to be constant. Like you're going to have that influx of viewers and support, just like you do with any other sort of not desk job. So
Freelancing, which I mean isn't sustainable in any sense, depending, but it's you can't depend on it while freelancing. It's really hard.
Yeah.
That brings me to one of my bigger questions for you. So you've been streaming for a while. You're pretty well versed in the organization, and like how this kind of thing works, like how the wheel turns, and what makes the wheel. So my question to you is what are 2 or 3 things that you wish you had known before you ever pushed the go live button for the first time?
Oh my god. Okay. Number 1, and I've been like kind of ranting about this. As a creator and also as someone who was in an organization, the hashtag support small streamers. Organizations use it to prey on small creators. They will use TweetDeck, spam like, and get their follows, and then use that as a number that they can then monetize off of. The support small streamers hashtag is a scam. It is not you looking for people. It is people looking for your likes and your follows and your interactions when you're not going to get any of it in return. Number 1, because I used it all the time. I was like, I'm going to find other small creators.
Yeah,
Other
me
small
too.
creators are going to find me. No, they're not. They're doing the same thing I am, is hoping people find them. It's never a two-way street. That hashtag is stupid and I hate it, and TikTok is bringing it back and it needs to go. I feel very strongly about that. I'm so sorry. But I was on both ends. Like, as I didn't realize it at the time, but working with an org, I was like, oh yeah, spamming that hashtag likes on all those tweets. Yeah, they're going to follow us. They're going to interact with us, and they want to be part of what we've got going on because they see that we see them. I don't see them. I just liked their tweet and I don't even know who they are. I didn't look at their stream. I didn't look at their Twitter. That's all it is. So that's number one is it's a scam. Don't do it. And don't get involved. Um, number two is dive post everywhere. Um, I streamed for a long time, just streamed. I was a student. I lived at home. Like I had other things to do. Now I'm an adult. I have my own house. I work from home. Like I can do things because I'm an adult and I have time to do things and I schedule my things, whatever. When I was younger, I couldn't really do that. So I totally get, just hitting go live and that's all you can do. But right now, like in 2020, it's 2021. In 2021, if you're only hitting go live and that's it, you kind of doing it wrong. You got to be doing something on Twitter other than posting your go live link. You got to be doing something on YouTube, even if your videos aren't edited well. Put some clips together and let it live on YouTube. Put your content somewhere. Give your content the like exposure it deserves. Be on TikTok. That's like the number one thing people are saying right now. Although your videos aren't hitting, use consistent hashtags and they'll hit because it figures out what your account is all about if you're using consistent hashtags instead of 50 different ones on every video. And number three, I don't know what number three is. Watch out for snakes.
Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like we've all been burned
Especially
by
on a
someone.
plane.
Well, there's a lot of people, especially in this space, that they want something
Yes.
that you
Yeah.
have, or they want something that you have within your reach, or like, oh, hey, I have a friend at this company. But yeah, you're my friend too. I can talk to them for you. No, absolutely not. Obviously, if you've got friends and connections, cool, use them. But there are people who will take advantage of that, and they know that they are, and you won't know it until it's too late.
Yeah. Full transparency. Super important. If there's an organization that won't tell you something, or they're like, oh, well, only the higher ups are privy to that information. Like, that's immediate turn off.
Run the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's like you're asking them for their address. Other than that,
Yeah.
everything should be pretty transparent. I mean, gross earnings per month, where money's going, all that kind of stuff should be transparent, should be obvious. Everyone should know that. You can look at all the major organizations; they're all public. That's public knowledge information. They release it.
Even like small companies within the space that say they're a gaming thing. Sometimes it's also a prey thing where they're like, we're going into this market because the market is successful and fruitful. Which cool, hell yeah, you got a business venture, do it. Like those are your people, do it. But sometimes it like doesn't make sense, and before working with a company, you should know who's doing things, where things are made, what's going on. Like the brands I support and vouch for are brands that I've like been involved with for a while and like stand behind. Where there's a lot of people, when I was a smaller and younger creator, I was like, oh, there's an affiliate thing, I'm gonna apply for it. I've never tried it, but I'm gonna apply for it because it looks cool in my bio. It looks cool in my panels. Ah! Everyone's been there. Everyone has been there where they thought it looked cool in their panels. It looks cool in their bio to have like a bunch of different. It makes you credible in a way. It's seen that way. At least when I started, if somebody had like affiliate links and stuff, like that's credible to me. But now it's just kind of like everybody wants things, and it like doesn't make any sense, and like you learn the hard way half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm jumping around everywhere. I just got real excited.
No, that's fine. Yeah. I don't know
It's a
what to
lot.
say.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Wait, I have a follow-up question. We asked all three of us this on the content creation one. Which platform, if you had to choose one to start off for live content, would you choose? And you can't choose TikTok.
Probably YouTube. YouTube, like numbers wise of like actually streaming maybe aren't phenomenal, but their searchability and like being able to find you is a hell of a lot easier than anywhere else, which that's Twitch's number one issue, is like being able to just find somebody random other than searching through all the streams. So that's YouTube, their algorithm, like top notch.
You think Twitch will ever fix that?
Probably not.
I
It's
don't
been
think
like
so.
an ongoing thing for like what, 3 years of like, hey, we
Yeah,
would love
years.
to find different creators in different ways, and they got rid of which made no sense. They got rid of communities. There used to be, you know, you have the Twitch teams
Right.
and you have a Twitch
Mhm.
community. When they got rid of communities, everybody was like,
Right.
hello, that was like the one way for like us people who aren't partnered, because you need to be partnered to make a Twitch team,
Right.
and partners can have up to 3 and they can't be transferred. I think they might have changed that,
Right.
but like it's when they got rid of communities, it was like, okay, well, my whole squad of people now, like what? Yeah, we have Discord, we can spam all our links, but like that was a thing that really brought people together. It made no sense. I don't know. It's just digression.
I will say that I think that Twitch listens too much to a few and not the mass. I think that they take a lot from their top content creators, as they should, but I guarantee that they had a talk about the communities with the top content creators, and the top content creators like, oh, I didn't even know communities were a thing, because they don't need it. They don't need any of those things.
A lot of the features that we ask for, partners literally have no use for.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you
I forgot about the communities thing.
Does everyone have
Yeah.
access to the bounty board now, or is that
No.
still an
I think
invite
it's
only
still
thing?
partners. And another thing partners have,
It's partners and
I have
live
select.
streams.
I have access to the bounty board.
Oh, you do? I'm about to
Yeah,
check.
it's like a selected
I swear to God,
situation.
I swear to God, I'm like red flagged for partnership. I swear to God, I've hit the numbers
several times.
4 or 5 times. Then the last one, I had like 100 plus concurrent with, you know, like 700 subs or something like that, and they denied me still. But they gave me access to the bounty board 2 applications before that. And I was
That's
like, I'm not
weird.
using the bounty board for shit. For anything, because I'm like, heck no, I'm not making you money, because that's all
It
it's
is a
doing.
banner day on the podcast.
Although
Yeah.
I won't lie, I did use it for a single. Oh God, what was it? It was a meat distributor. It's like a. It was oh God, what is the brand? Oh, that's really bad. Oh God, that's really
OnlyFans?
bad.
That's a meat distributor.
Well, it was a meat brand, and they were trying their little like meat nuggets, and they were trying to get it out to like gamers and stuff. So I was sponsored by them for like
Gamer
an
nugs.
entire stream. They set me up. Yeah, they
Meat
basically
nuggets.
they sent me out a bunch of
Sponsored.
meat nuggets, and every time someone cheered a bit, I ate one. And I mean,
Were they good?
they're all right. They were all right. Oh, Dietz and
That's an
Watson.
interesting tool.
Dietz and Watson. That's what it was. Dietz and
Hmm.
Watson.
Makes sense. Well, like squad
didn't do a
streams
good job.
too
Never
are a
heard of it.
thing that partners used
Yeah.
for like
Right.
a few months, and I haven't seen them use it since. When affiliates are sitting here like, "Hello, I would love to do a
love to have a
squad stream with the
squad
homies," or like, you know, you have a friend who's a partner who is like, "Yeah, let's squad stream." Hey, homie, I can't do that. Talk to your people.
Right.
Right.
You send them an email. They won't reply to me.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a
I
sore
got lots of
subject.
opinions.
That's good.
though.
I'm glad you're here.
Well, it's been interesting seeing the platform grow over the years too.
I know. Yeah. Completely different platform from
Yeah.
Justin TV. Justin TV.
Which when
was
you guys were talking
great.
about someone who was like pre-affiliate streaming to only the platforms that didn't have exclusivity, like I didn't even have that option because I was streaming before affiliate was even a thing.
Right.
And before even knowing what it was, because it was so hyped up and people really didn't know much about it, I was like, yes, I was accepted the day it launched because I,
Right.
you know, was already doing everything.
Did you read the
And
contract?
so, no, I was too excited.
Me neither.
Everybody was like,
Me
we're
neither.
affiliates
Me
It was,
now.
a horrible, it was a horrible decision. Should have read it.
Did you read it, Jess?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is another thing people don't
I
tell
did
you.
read it.
It's like I'm responsible.
Well,
That's it.
I have a degree in business, so I read all my contracts.
All right.
Well,
So
add that to the
got
list of
partner
things I
that-
wish I knew when I started is
Partner.
read all your contracts, especially like all the ones from big companies, especially if they're run by Amazon, because they got all sorts of tiny fonts.
Yeah.
how bad
So
is the
I did
contract,
read
Jess?
it.
How bad is the
Huh?
contract with Twitch affiliate? Rate it on a scale of 0 to 10.
I would have to say a 5.
Ooh.
It's better than I thought.
Me
Because
too.
I want to say because there's good aspects and bad aspects in it. Because also there is
Mhm.
exclusivity, but it is only
Yes.
24 hours.
And wait, and
which is nice.
if I'm correct, the 24 hours isn't like you can go live on YouTube like an hour after you end your stream. Like, I think that's a misconception. A lot of people
Yeah,
think that
so
they can't.
That specific content
Yeah.
cannot be anywhere else for
Right.
24
so you
hours.
can't
Yeah.
like rerun that
Right.
that stream on YouTube the minute after.
I think a lot of
You
new
can't like
affiliates.
immediately export it. You
Yeah.
can wait 24 hours and then export it. But
I think a lot of new affiliates think that they can't create content on any other platform for 24 hours. Like, I think they really misread that.
There's also people who go live on TikTok the same time that they go live on Twitch, and
yeah.
people are saying they can't do that. It's not against terms of service because it's not the same content. It would be different if it was your Twitch stream being streamed to TikTok, but it's not. It's like totally. I mean, it's just usually someone just sitting there not paying attention. If we're
you can
honest.
stream to multiple platforms, but again, that content that's on Twitch has to remain on Twitch for 24 hours before going somewhere else, before you clip it and send out your clips.
Wait, are you saying that
that's-
you can stream, like I could stream to YouTube Live and Twitch Live at the same exact time as a Twitch affiliate?
No,
No.
it can't be the same, but if you're
Okay, yeah,
if you're streaming at the same time, just not the same content is what I'm saying.
like if you have like a different camera angle.
Oh,
Technically.
oh, I got you.
Two
Yeah.
PC setup, but
That's cloudy. That's cloudy. I feel like that's cloudy.
Hey.
But I feel like cloudy
it's
stands
gotta
up
be
in
a
court.
loophole.
Cloudy definitely stands
The
up in
gray
court.
areas are coming for all
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
There's partners that don't read their contracts either because they're
Oh my
excited. They're
God.
like, hell yeah.
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 Oh god.
Yes.
Which partner
Oh,
contracts can
so-
differ by person too. It's not just
Yes.
one solid
Yes.
contract.
You're right. You're right.
So my affiliate story is very interesting. So I got affiliate the day I got my wisdom teeth out. So the day before I got my wisdom teeth out, I was streaming, and
Wait, were you
my
chubby
buddy got
cheeks?
rated. What?
You have chubby cheeks?
Oh, it was bad. But the night before I got my wisdom teeth out, I was streaming, and my buddy got raided by Ninja. This is like 2018, like peak Ninja era.
Oh.
176K viewers, like hosted him. He streamed for an hour, and then was like, "I'm getting off." And I was on, and he saw me on, and he hosted me, and I had like 2.9. Like I was just on the cusp of that 3 concurrent viewer mark to get affiliate, and that after that day, it was at like 6,000. So
Yeah,
I
you
got
were rated.
affiliate the next day, but I didn't check my email until after my morning wisdom teeth operation. And so I got home, I slept for like 45 minutes, and I woke up and I was like, "Mom, I got affiliate." And I went, "Accept," and that was it. So I didn't read shit.
Even if you didn't want to read it, you
And
could
then I
not.
streamed for like 4 hours and like passed out on stream. I was like, "Wow, what a great first day." It was very weird. That's why I didn't read the contract.
Yeah. You know, a lot
That's a
of
very
people,
good reason.
I think it's been
No,
a
it's
kind of
not.
I think it's been a topic of conversation a little bit, but then it kind of went away with everything that happened and everything. But they were talking right before the pandemic, they were talking about, you know, step ladders, like how there really isn't anything between affiliate and partner. There's nothing, and it's such a large gap. Like getting 75 concurrent viewers is difficult, and if you've ever gotten it, you know how difficult it is. And even if you haven't gotten it, I mean, you probably know even more how difficult it is to maintain and continue returning people, especially if you're a variety streamer. I understand that aspect of things. That's tough. You get a bunch of different people, maybe 1 or 2 to 3 people from different communities that you have to make sure mesh together. That's so difficult. What do you think that they can
Yeah.
do to make a step ladder? Like, what is the thing between? I think, because it has to make sense for them, right? If they put out resources like the servers where you can always have you can adjust the video down to like 160p or whatever for every single content creator, Twitch will go under. Like, I don't think people understand how expensive that actually is to run that amount of bandwidth, but they'll go under for sure if they let every single person that got like 25 plus viewers or something like that. They would definitely, they wouldn't last. So what do they need to do to get that in between? What would you guys need to really help yourself? Like the bounty board, for example, is that something that you think should have access to anyone over a certain amount of time and just let everyone? And my reserve on that is that obviously brands are reaching out to Twitch and there's only a certain amount. Like if I'm looking at the bounty board regularly, they get picked up so fast. Like when something comes out, they get picked up so fast from the bounty board because You have a ton of people trying to get at that. Obviously, if there were more people, maybe more brands would come in and offer more stuff. But yeah, what do you guys think would be best to have that stepping ladder?
I like the idea of possibly putting in a stepping ladder because getting affiliate, it's so easy for some, and it's more difficult. But 3 viewers, like average, 50 followers, like that is a very easy stepping stone for everyone to get. And I see there's a
Yeah.
lot of affiliates out there, and having affiliate is nice because you can start monetizing your stream and getting people in. But again, going from 3 viewers to 75, that is huge. And not everyone, not even a lot of partners that I watch still get 75 concurrent viewers.
Oh yeah.
Like I come in and sometimes they're at 30 and I'm like, okay, like I understand like viewership like drops, especially when you stop like promoting yourself, trying to get that partner status. But I feel like there should be something in between or something like offered to kind of help people continue wanting to get to that partner level if they want to do that. It's just kind of like, little rewards here and there.
And there definitely should be something in the middle because back when like the Fortnite World Cup and everything was going on, that's when they like that whole year of Fortnite, they were giving out partnership to anybody who was on a team, whether
Right.
you were streaming or not. When I was part of an org, there were people who streamed maybe once a week or didn't even start streaming until they got that partnership because they were on an org and they were a pro player. So
Right.
they had a huge exodus of just here's partnership to a bunch of people who weren't even streaming,
Yeah.
didn't hit any of the
Yeah.
threshold. So, when you have like the TwitchCon with the partner party, you have all these people who like, it's like, what?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. The partners work their butts off to get where they're at. I totally understand it. And so a lot of the things, it is a little gatekeepy sometimes when like affiliates get something and partners are like, well, we had that and like we don't think they should have it. Okay. Sure. Like you earned it and deserved it, but also like we only got like half of what you have, so like understand the difference. But like a little bit of a stepping stone, like sure, give the option for squad streaming and like a few of the cool features that like affiliates have been
Yeah.
begging for. Give us something in the middle to work towards. Because for me, my average right now, I fluctuate between like 10 and 17. And like for me, that's phenomenal. Like my streams aren't where it's popping usually, and that's totally fine. But I'm doing everything else right, I feel like. And so going from, 17 average to 75 is a huge, like, honestly, if a goal is out of reach, people usually don't reach for it. If something's more
Yeah.
obtainable, they're gonna try, which maybe that's what they're scared of. I don't know, because partners also have the option. Usually their splits are like 70-30 or 80-20 or 60-40. It's not 50-50 anymore for the most part.
Yeah. But a lot of people would take 50-50 as a partner.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. I bet you some people would even take 40%, honestly, to get a partnership status for the things that they give. Not that would be fair, but I'm just saying, like, I already know multiple people that would take 40% if they were able to get those things, because a lot of those things can be barriers to entry to your stream. Like, and I think the thing that worries me most about Twitch is, pre-roll ads, stuff like that. It's all just barriers to the viewer, to the content creator, which should be the ultimate number one concern for the Twitch, for the company.
Yeah.
And it just seems like they keep putting up barriers, and that's allowing people like YouTube and all the other different content platforms to come in and just be like, hey, take a look at us. We look actually pretty nice, even though we haven't changed much. Like we are looking better and better to you now because of what Twitch is doing. And I think you touched on it a little bit. I think they're worried about the scaling of it, because if you really get that many partners and stuff, each partner, when they first get partnered, from my understanding, gets a partnership manager, and they're in contact with them. Not everyone, but
now that there's a lot,
yeah, now
not so
probably
much
not
anymore.
as much. But and I think that's what they're realizing. They just don't have the staff to undertake that kind of leap, and they're having
the original
trouble.
model can't be sustained.
They're having trouble trying to make that model work, and it just isn't going to work. And I don't think they have the resources. And a lot of people think Twitch is this gigantic company. It really is still not that big of a company.
It's this much of Amazon. And because it's this much of this much,
Yeah.
they don't care. Amazon doesn't give a crap about
Yeah.
Twitch.
The Amazon
Like,
Prime was really good, but at the same time, Amazon is one of the biggest barriers for Twitch growth. And that is I will go to my grave saying that 100%. I think like things were going great, and everyone kind of forgets that because their sub count went up by 10 people or something. And everyone's like, oh no, Amazon Prime was great because of Prime subs and stuff. But the platform came to a abrupt halt in progress when Amazon hit it. And you know why? Because everything Twitch wants to do needs to go through Amazon now. And Amazon's going to do the safer road for them that won't lose them millions and millions of dollars.
they're in the same boat Mark Cuban is.
True. That's true.
If it's not making them, if it doesn't make money, why do it? Why
Right.
even think about it?
So, kind of pivoting a little bit. I have more thoughts on that, but I wanted to make sure that I asked you this question because as somebody with a house, with responsibilities, with a significant other, with a stream career, with a content creation focus,
Mhm.
what are, and I'm going to give you this 2 or 3 things question again, but what are 2 or 3 things, doesn't have to be 2 or 3, can be 1 or 2, that you wish you'd done before you started taking streaming very seriously, that isn't so much a reality for you to do now that you have responsibilities to your online content creator personality?
Right. No, that makes sense. So I've kind of mentioned I've been doing this for a little while, mostly not focusing on me. Pretty much beginning right when I moved, so beginning of 2020, before the world went to crap. I started focusing on myself. We moved to a new state. We were in a new place. Had our own house that we were renting. And so all systems go. Screw it. I'm doing me. Um, and now we're a homeowner, you know, a year later after that. We're homeowners. I've got 4 animals, 2 cats, 2 dogs, a boyfriend. So it's a full-time job all within itself. Yeah, parent streamers, like streamers who are parents, I don't know how they do it. I can barely manage what I'm doing. I've always had time management issues.
What's up, Joe?
I don't understand. Um, but time management has always been an issue for me because I'm very much the person where I'm all systems go 110% with everything. So it's kind of until recently, still a little bit, but not as much. Where it's a consistent cycle, pretty much since like grade school, where Caitlin loads herself with all these really cool, exciting things between work, school, family, hobbies, everything. All systems go, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I shut down, and then I have to drop a few things because otherwise I'm going to lose my absolute marbles, and you know, kind of like losing part of myself within that circle of process that's happened over and over and over and over. So it's kind of just been like figuring out what I want, and saying no sometimes. Saying no. Number one, saying no. Because like to myself, I need to say yes to me sometimes. Saying no to other people because I like being nice. I like helping other people. Literally everything that I've done when not focusing on myself, even while focusing on myself, has been helping other people when I can because I love it. It's freaking cool. You know, if I know how to do something and somebody's like, "Hey, I don't fully understand this, but once I do, I think I'll be okay." I'm gonna help you with this thing because then you're gonna shoot for the stars. You're gonna do amazing, and look at you go. You're doing great. Love you. It's like been a consistent cycle of that, and I've kind of dwindled down on saying yes to everybody because it's too much, and it's been great for my mental health. And I'm also really sporadic, as you can tell. So sometimes it's just, you know, I'm all over the place. This is me all the time. My brain thinks of like one thing and then it goes. So I'm so sorry. But just kind of saying no and figuring out what I want. I want to start focusing on TikTok content and integrating it into my stream. Cool. I'm going to do that thing. I want to start eating better and making dinner for myself and my boyfriend almost every night, depending on how I feel. Okay, I'm going to at least go grocery shopping and get things for those meals. We'll see how it goes when I actually want to make them. You know, it's kind of like instead of setting a million goals that are unachievable, I set a lot less goals that are like easier to do, I guess. Because again, if it's unattainable, I don't want to do it. Instead of saying, hey, I want to lose 15 pounds by the end of the year, that's so far away. I'm not going to think about it. And that's a huge goal. No, I'm just going to eat healthier. I'm just going to make my own dinner. And then step by step, we'll get there. So yeah, instead of being more sporadic than I already am and like losing my head, it's just kind of buckling down and figuring out what I want to do and then planning out how I want to do it. Sorry.
And just a follow up, is there anything that you find yourself not able to do now that you have all of this other stuff to work on?
Um, Sometimes I wish I say or sometimes I say I wish there's more time in a day. And I think that was something that I mentally responded to when you were asking on in the episode, saying like, what would it take for you to be a full-time content creator? I was like, more hours in the day, because I love everything that I'm doing, but like I need more time to do it. Because sometimes I do find myself, a lot of things that I do are either while I'm working or while I'm streaming, or like I run on top of my content creation, on top of my stream, on top of all the platforms I post on top of my life, on top of my full-time job. I also run a business. And so I'm doing that while I'm doing other things. And the way I've integrated it is my candle making during the stream. I'm like, I'm overwhelmed, but I also promised you guys a stream. So I have all these orders to do. Let's just make them on stream. And that's something that's kind of unique. You can place an order and then watch it get made. Like, I don't know anybody else that does that. So I kind of made it like a special, unique thing when really it was just me being overwhelmed. And like I said I would stream, so we're gonna do this. And some people do that with other things. Like I have commissions to do for emotes and stuff. I'll stream myself doing it. I have literally anything people stream that is like them being productive, and it's also another like thing that they just do outside of stream, I think is the coolest thing. So I don't know if that okay. Sorry.
No, thank you.
So I think it brings us up to right around the time where we go into PNR, which if you've watched the past episode is a positivity or a rant for this week. I'll be honest, I haven't thought of one yet, but I'm going to get it by the time you guys share all of yours. Is Jess ranting this week? No rant.
No.
No rant. Positivity.
Gonna rant
Always-
about how
always
Jess
from
never
Jess.
rants.
JP, how about you? You have a rant?
I might.
Okay. Kate, what about you? You think you're staying positive here, or are you going ranty?
I'll try to stay positive.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Does anyone
I'll go
have theirs
first.
for sure? Yeah, okay. JP, you go first.
I'll go first. Okay, so it's more of a positivity thing than a rant, but it's kind of a rant. I think with the cycle of how games come out and how content is produced and new things coming out all the time and all of this, I think it's easy to forget things that you once really enjoyed. These last couple weeks, I've really been revisiting games that like got me into gaming. And those games for me are first and foremost Fallout New Vegas, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, and things. And some of them that I revisit are, bleh, I don't want to do that anymore. But some of them are like, oh my God, I missed this kind of more casual atmosphere in a game. And that brings me to like the rant kind of part of it. There are no casual gamers anymore. That's really frustrating. Like everybody that's gaming like either has a clan tag or a Twitch link in their name, but there's nothing wrong with it. Get your bag. But there's no casual gamers anymore. And I think that's like really changing how we look at video games, which is positive and negative, because a lot of things, when you start to look at it as a job or when you start to look at it as something you want to make a career of, it doesn't become fun anymore and it's boring. And I think there's a lot more toxicity online because people are like, oh my God, I'm doing this all the time, but I'm not getting good clips, so I can't make a good montage video for Call of Duty. And they scream at you through the microphone because that's how they get their anger out. It's like, I'm fine with take your toxicity out on me. It's fine. It's better than, whoever you live with, but it's not sustainable for the people that are trying to do it. And I feel like a lot of people, because pressing go live is as easy as clicking a button on your PS4, have like really has really contributed to the toxicity of the gaming community that there is right now. And I think you can see that very, very specifically with a few games. But then you see games like Valheim or games like Destiny 2, where there's not a lot of toxicity because people are genuinely enjoying playing the game. It's games that aren't like huge at the forefront. Like everybody and their mom knows that Counter-Strike and Call of Duty and League of Legends have the most toxic communities. And I don't think that that's coincidental. That's my thing. There are no casual gamers anymore.
I feel that to an extent because you said like they always have like their gamer tag or TTV. I have to put TTV in my tag sometimes because Bumble is used everywhere and not just for me but for the company and for everything. So if I try and put Bumble, it's not allowed. If I try and put Bumble 777, still not allowed. So I literally have to add
Yeah.
TTV to it sometimes in order for me to have my name. And it's so annoying because like in Sea of Thieves, like I only play Sea of Thieves when I usually stream it. I couldn't use my actual name. I couldn't even put TTV on there. I had to do a completely different name. I'm known as the BTTV or the Beat TV, depends on how you read it. But like it's just irritating how like I can't even put my name in there sometimes because it's used so often. I'm like, guys, stop taking my name.
Yeah.
I love
mean, I
how
definitely
I
put
love how
TTV in some of mine too.
JP's positive/rant became Jess's rant. Yes. Yes.
I
We
find
do
it
it all
very
here.
irritating. I can't even use my name.
All right, Jess.
I do have a positivity.
All right, let's hear it.
I think so. This is all speculation, but I think my schedule will be changing very soon,
Oh.
which I'm super excited about. I'll no longer be the graveyard shift.
Nice.
I'll have a normal shift in the morning because right
So
now I work
happy.
3:30 to midnight, and it's so stressful. But I'll be working like 8ish in the morning to like maybe 4, and that is my ideal schedule because I love working the mornings more, and then I can actually have time to hang out with the people I love and stream who I also love.
Welcome to civilization.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Yeah.
Instead of like waking up before work and then staying up till 7 in the morning, I'm like, yes, this is normal. That's all.
My positive versus rant is going to be based off of my last rant, which for those of you that don't remember, it was a rant about roundabouts and how people never use them properly. My shout out is to the one individual that showed me there is some hope in Massachusetts and went through the roundabout 100% properly. Didn't slow down at all. Well, a little bit for the yield, but then went right through. I was full ready to slam on my brakes following this person because I was like, this person is 100% stopping, and then they just casually went through. No problem.
I think you need a new segment just called the Roundabout Report.
Oh.
Just every week.
Single player like drop, you're just like,
It was so good. It felt so great. And I got to work 10 seconds faster. All right.
It's a win. It's a win. There you go.
Deserves a slow clap. Massachusetts is a mess.
It really is. It's so
It
horrendously.
is.
It's got to be the worst drivers in America. I'm sticking to it.
It's Massachusetts and Connecticut. It's all bad.
All right, Kate. Positivity or rant?
We'll do positivity. Positivity to the homies. The real homies know who they are and they know the stuff they do to be considered a real homie. And I'm sure everybody's got those friends that like you don't have to tell your friends that like you appreciate them and love them. They already know, but then when you do tell them, they're like, ah! And it's a great feeling. And just I don't know. Love your friends, those who stick by you. They're freaking great.
Good one.
that's
That's
the
a good
only
one.
time I text my best friend is when I tell her I love her.
Hey,
And
sometimes
once
that's all
every
you
2
need.
weeks. I love you.
True.
It's just like, oh, I love you too. And no more talking.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah,
fair.
you do you.
Nice. And that's important. I feel like it always goes up and down, that awareness, right? Check in,
Mhm.
check in all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the best like homies are those that kind of like understand like when you or them are like going through something, like how to kind of like
Yeah.
it's all about give and take. Give and take.
Mhm.
Never too much of one or the other.
I
Dependent.
agree.
Up and down. Hell yeah.
Don't pour
Oh,
from an
heck
empty
yeah.
cup, though.
Sorry.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Guys, make sure
you.
you're checking out Cosmic Kate on all socials and also Cosmic Candles, Kate's candle company.
Mm.
Absolutely fantastic. I have literally
Oh no.
3. We've like on my desk currently,
you got
and
an
that's not
Advil
even
on
all of
one.
them that I have.
Wait, tell me a little
Oh
bit
no,
just
it's a
quickly about that
magnet.
a little bit. Like what?
I thought it was an ibuprofen. I was like, that didn't come with your package, sir.
That's true.
Wait, so are there like certain scents, or are you just making your own? Like what how do you get
Yeah.
one?
It's a full-blown smorgasbord of stuff. CosmicCandles.com,
Sounded
all
backwards.
spelled with a K. I make my own candles, so it's mostly like what I have available is like what I make. But I also have a problem where if I see a smell I like, I'll buy the fragrance oil for it, and then I'm like, hey, I got a little bit of this one, let's just do it. So yeah, and it's fun because like if people order one and then come and stream, it's like, all right, what color you want it? Like how much you want to mix it up a little bit? Like it's a cool interactive thing.
It is
That is
really
cool.
cool. My
That is cool.
personal faves are, I don't know if these are available depending on scent, but my personal favorites are mahogany teakwood.
Ooh.
Oh.
That is my absolute favorite next to lavender lemon. They are
Ooh.
tied. And then there was one that you were doing, or 2 that you were doing that I'm not sure are available anymore, but you actually sent me some testers. Bow ties and bourbon and leather balsam are
Oh,
like
yeah.
absolutely incredible scents. So go ahead and check those out. Kate, thank you so much for being here. I really
Thank you for
enjoyed it.
having me. You
Yeah.
guys are awesome, and I really like your show. I binged them this morning, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Well, for those that have watched, you know that the time has come for the awkward goodbye. All right. Here it comes. 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye.